I've heard the suggestions that Doctor Who should stop being made by the BBC and sold or given to Netflix to make. Thing is, this wouldn't work, in my opinion. Doctor Who can be streamed on Netflix and other streaming services, sure, but it still needs to be made by the BBC. And here's why, in my opinion. Doctor Who has been made by the BBC since 1963, well, apart from between 1989 and 2005 when it was off the air, and the 1996 TV movie, which was a Universal Fox BBC co-production. But the BBC does have a restricted budget, especially throughout the classic series and even the revived series, along with other shows. And it's had its budget cut over the last couple of years, or at least it did a few years ago anyway. But some people have suggested, so that the show could have a bigger budget, it should be given to Netflix, and presumably they're also thinking with Netflix the show might have a better quality. That latter one's a theory, I've not heard that argument just yet. Thing is though, not everybody has Netflix. I don't, for example, and I'm sure a lot of people don't. I'm sure it's a lot of people do. And I think there are quite a few people who don't. Of course, it's very popular and has a lot of people subscribe to it. However, everybody who does watch television watches television on, whether it's on the TV itself or on a device like the computer or on your phone or something, and you've got iPlayer and stuff. And this, all of this are counted as usual terrestrial television. And even iPlayer would kind of fit into that in a sort of way. Yeah, I know we do have to pay the TV license through tax here in the UK because that pays for the BBC. It funds the BBC and everything. And I know there's been a lot of calls to axe the television license, and to be honest, that does sound like a good idea. However, who would then fund the BBC? Would it be funded by the government? As much as we hate the license fee, it is basically what funds the BBC, and it does come out of tax, a bit like how British Railways, back when it was when the railways were nationalised between 1948 and 1994, the people paid for it because it came out of their money. But in 1994, they got separate companies coming in to privatise that, and the same could be said throughout the 80s with the coal and oil business. Privatisation came in. With the BBC, I'm not sure if we got rid of the licence fee, what would happen to the BBC? Would the government fund it, or would it just shut down altogether? So that is an argument, and it's not like ITV where they have adverts to pay for the channels. You also still have to pay for Netflix, by the way. So there isn't really much of a difference. And I think by moving it to streaming only, it would alienate some people. I think it's better for Doctor Who to remain as a terrestrial programme on the BBC. And as much as we hate paying that darn TV licence, at least the BBC is getting money to make Doctor Who and other shows. You could have a bit more money, Mr. and Mrs. Government. But yeah, at least it's getting money. And you still have to pay for Netflix, so there's not a huge amount of difference apart from what the prices is. I know the budget is the argument, but again, if you raise the budget a little bit, Mr. and Mrs. Government, we might get a bit more budget in our TV shows. However, whilst I don't think a complete move from the BBC to Netflix would work, I do believe a co-production could work, as we've seen it before, like with the CBBC programmes The Worst Witch from 2017 onwards, and the recent Mallory Towers programme have been co-funded by the BBC and Netflix, and also His Dark Materials with BBC and HBO. So I do think a co-fund between the BBC and Netflix or Amazon or whoever could work for the show, but I do not think that the show should move from the BBC to Netflix or whoever. I think it should firmly stay with the BBC. Even if we have to deal with budget restrictions, I think it should stay on the BBC. Another problem I have is that if it did go to Netflix or streaming, there is the possibility of it dropping on all of the whole series. Let's say 10 episodes, the next series, Series 13, 10 episodes, drops on the exact same day, all at the same time. Now, whilst this would be great for binge watching and watching the entire series in one go, or 2 goes, or however many, um, there is the possibility of spoilers. Lots of people could easily spoil the series, and the same could be said if they released the series on Netflix or BBC iPlayer fully for you to watch, but you still had the show playing on telly. You had it once a week, but you released all of the episodes at the same time on iPlayer or on Netflix or wherever. You would get a lot of spoilers for the rest of the series. You would imagine if episodes 1 and 2 were a two-parter. You opened on a two-parter, and episode 1 airs on telly, and then all of the episodes are available from iPlayer after that episode's broadcast, all 10 episodes. Imagine how many, and you have to wait a week until episode 2 for the usual broadcast. You could expect spoilers before the next day, even. You could probably get people watching episode 2 straight away. You could watch episode 3 after that, and you might even have you jump all the way to episodes 9 and 10. Which could spoil the series for anyone who's just watching it weekly. So I really don't think that's a good idea. I think it's fine for shows with less of a fan base, like Mallory Towers. They dropped all of their episodes on iPlayer at the same time, as well as airing those episodes weekly. But Mallory Towers is one series at the moment. It doesn't have as much of a fan base as Doctor Who, even if you're taking into the fan base of the books, because it's based on a book series. Even if you're taking in the fan base of the books, you still don't have as big of a fan base as Doctor Who, and that's just the TV fans, let alone the expanded media fans. So, yeah, Doctor Who is a massive fan base. It's one of the biggest British television fan bases, if not the biggest British television fan base that isn't a soap drama. So, yeah, and I think it would be, if we had all of the episodes drop all at the same time, we would have a lot of spoilers, especially if it was on iPlayer and you were showing the episodes weekly. I think we should just stick to having the episodes on BBC once a week, or twice a week if you're having 2 episodes on the same week, maybe 2 episodes on the same night, or an episode one night and an episode another night, like Saturdays and Sundays, or like in the Peter Davison era, twice a week on 2 weekdays. So I think it's better when on iPlayer. With Doctor Who and other bigger shows, they should just do it one at a time, and then on iPlayer is the catch-up. And once the whole series is aired, then everybody can go and watch the series in one go, and the same for other streaming services. I do have a very good example of a case where spoilers almost did happen for the show, because some people were able to watch a couple of episodes early. Back in 2013, the Blu-ray distributors in the United States accidentally distributed Series 7 Part 2 Blu-rays over there about 3 weeks before they were intended to go. These were all pre-order ones, and they were sent off to people who had ordered them. And this was 3 weeks before the release of the Blu-ray, and that followed 9 days after the UK and US transmissions of episode 13, the name of the Doctor, meaning that these people who received their Blu-rays early could check out episodes 12 and 13, Nightmare in Silver and The Name of the Doctor, before they got broadcast. So Stephen Moffat and the BBC had to ask them nicely to not spoil the last 2 episodes, especially the last one, because that one has a massive cliffhanger at the end. And because nobody did spoil it, or very few people did, we got a nice video of David Tennant and Matt Smith talking to each other on the set of the 50th anniversary, which was nice. So, yeah, and if the BBC and Stephen Moffat hadn't asked nicely, perhaps those people who got the Series 7 Part 2 Blu-rays would have spoiled episodes 12 and 13 of Series 7. Those 2 episodes could have been spoilt, and a lot of people could go into episode 12 knowing that this character, Porridge, played by Warwick Davis, turns out to be this Emperor dude that the soldier people used to work for, perhaps. And then episode 13, there's a lot more spoilers in there to do with the Great Intelligence's plan, and of course with the reveal of the War Doctor, as well as what the mystery about Clara is. So that's an example when the show could have been spoiled because some fans got to see some episodes earlier, and the same could be said for press screenings. But I think those people, the people who go there, especially journalists, are very tight-lipped when it comes to spoilers, and will just, if they say anything about it, it'll be a spoiler-free critical review. So they're usually quite tight-lipped about spoilers, and if there is major spoilers, perhaps those reviews would be written, but they wouldn't be published until after the episode is broadcast. So yeah, so I think with press screens, people can keep their mouths shut a bit more, but when it comes to early Blu-ray releases, then we've got less of a restraint, especially as your press screenings, you are invited, or you have to pay for a ticket, perhaps, for a special screening or for a press screening. Whilst with the Blu-ray ones, it's sent to you early, and you go, "Ooh, goody! New episodes that I don't have to wait until Saturday or Sunday to watch these episodes. I can watch them right now! Yay!" So, and that would be the same case with dropping every single episode all at once on streaming and on iPlayer. And especially if they were still broadcasting at the same time on the BBC, it wouldn't quite work. So I think dropping all of the episodes on at the same time on both iPlayer and on streaming, especially if the episodes are still broadcasting weekly or twice a week or whatever, it would be a massive kick in the face to the fans and the audiences who are watching it weekly by people who are just going to outright spoil everything. So imagine if episode 1 of series 13, you get introduced to this new mystery to do with the division, perhaps, and then you're like, oh, what's this all about? And then next day somebody says Omega was behind the whole thing, and that's spoiled an entire series, more or less, or at least the main series arc or the main mystery. Please note, I do not know if Omega will be the main villain of Series 13 and he's behind everything. This is just an example. So, yeah, I find that a bit disrespectful. So please do not spoil anything. If you do have the chance to see an episode early, don't spoil things. You can talk about non-spoily stuff. I'm fine with that. You can discuss some non-spoily stuff, although don't go into too much detail. Just something, just brief. But don't spoil it for anybody before the episode has aired, at the very least. And try and keep your spoilers to a minimum afterwards, because not everyone would have seen it at the same time. That's why we've got catch-up and recording devices. Or some people might wait for it to be on streaming services or on DVD and Blu-ray. Or downloads nowadays. Maybe more people are into downloads, although, mind you, the DVDs and Blu-rays are still pretty popular. I mean, a lot of people pay for the classic series collection Blu-rays, don't they? So overall, personally, I think Doctor Who should remain on the BBC, and we should not drop every single episode all at once on a release date. I think it needs to be broadcast at least once a day, 1 episode a day, or 2 episodes a day. To avoid spoilers, it should be at the very, very, very minimum 1 to 3 episodes dropped a day. And even then, you have to watch those 2 or 3 episodes each day before you can move on to the ones afterwards. So imagine episodes 4, 5, and 6 drop. You can watch episodes 4 and 5, and if you decide to skip episode 6 because you don't think it's relevant, you can't skip to episode 7 until the next day. So that gives you the time to watch episode 6 and see where it's at. This is all just personal opinion and thoughts. If you have any opinions and thoughts of your own, please drop it down in the comments below. And thank you for taking your time to watch this video, which I will admit, it doesn't have a huge, strong argument for or against, but it's just something I just feel about. I just have some opinions about, and it's just something I wanted to do in a quick-ish video to talk about, just to give some brief and give a bit of an example with the Series 7 Part 2 Blu-rays, as well as the co-production shows references, and also the example of Mary Towers having all of its episodes dropped on one day and still showing on iPlayer and then still showing the episodes weekly. But like I said, Mary Towers doesn't have as much of a fan base as Doctor Who. And Doctor Who's fan base are more likely to spoil things for said fan base. So, yeah. But those are just my thoughts and opinions. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys back for another video where we're on a bit more of an agreeable topic. And, ooh, hello! Potential video ideas coming up. Ooh. And potentially agreeable. Or at least one of them is. And, okay, so I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.